hey, I was gonna do an unboxing of this tarot deck that I have, that I've had for a while, but I haven't unboxed yet. But then I was like, well, I just did a thing with tarot, so I should do something else. And it's been like almost 2 weeks since my last post. I'm trying to be regular in my posting, so I thought I'd just come on and do a little life update. Also, in part because I'm doing a little temperature check out here because I was going to do the unboxing out here. But it's been really mosquito-y lately, and I'm not into it. And they really love my blood, and I'm very allergic to their bites. And so I've got my little mosquito candle out here, praying like hell it works. The last time I had it out here, I got bit. It was sitting right next to me, and I got bit by a mosquito. So I don't know that I'm a believer in the mosquito candles. Do they work for you? Comment down below. Anyway, it's a beautiful night, so I did want to be outside. I haven't been outside all day. I've been cleaning and organizing my house for the past week and a half. I mean, it makes it sound like that's really bad, but there was just a lot of things that have been disorganized for a long time, including my brain and my husband's brain. He's been very busy working on a project. When he's working on a project, he's hyper-focused in one direction, if you know what I mean. Anyway, all this to say, yeah, I thought I'd just come on here in this beautiful weather and these lovely flowers and just do a little life update, as one does, because I have been doing pretty good lately. I was doing pretty bad for like the past better part of 2 years. I think I maybe mentioned that before. Maybe I didn't, but I was doing pretty bad. I've struggled with depression off and on my whole life. And when I say off and on, now that I'm the age I am, I have gone through this enough times. I really feel like I've been depressed my whole life, which is kind of depressing to say, but if you can relate, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's like, what I've learned is that it's kind of a, what's the word, like an undercurrent, you know, like it's like the constant, where it's like you're always kind of like trying to like ride above it, but it's always kind of, it's like the baseline. It's the baseline. It's kind of the baseline of my life. And I hate to say that because again, it sounds so grim, but it's just, we all have our things, right? Like, and so this is mine. And you know, I've been doing a lot of work on my nervous system because this last episode I had really manifested initially in just like kind of like a nervous breakdown sort of thing. It was just like suddenly, for no apparent reason. I mean, when you dig into it, it's like there's a lot of reasons, but like at the time, it just seemed kind of like for no apparent reason, everything was just really hard. And I just kind of collapsed. And then I was was like, okay, I need something, because all my coping mechanisms I've been using up until this point, while they've been super valuable and I've they've helped me greatly over the years, like, just kind of like not really getting at the root issue. And I mean, I have done so much stuff. I've done talk therapy, I've done meditation, I've done hypnotherapy, I've done affirmations, I've done manifestation. I'm a really good manifester. Not to toot my horn, but I'm really good at manifesting things. So like law of attraction, all of that kind of stuff, hypnotherapy, wooey hypnotherapy, which I loved so much that I got trained in the technique so I could do it for others. I mean, I have done so many things. I've done in the way past, like I even did guided meditation, or no, guided imagery in music. It's like a music-based program where they like take you on a journey with music, and like it's basically hypnosis but with music, and it's cool. But anyway, like, I mean, I've had breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, and I've talked and talked and talked, and I've analyzed and analyzed and analyzed. And like, I've gained clarity and clarity and clarity, and I've forgiven and forgiven and forgiven. I've never forgiven anyone. And it's not because they don't deserve to be forgiven. It's because I don't believe in forgiveness. If that sounds weird, but it's more just like, I firmly believe that everybody is doing their best at all times, even if they're being the worst. And yeah, so like, even the people who hurt you the most when they're hurting you, they're only acting out of their own history, their own traumas, their own bandwidth, their own knowledge of the world, and all of those things. So it's kind of like, when you strip it down to, they are a product of either the way they were raised or traumas that they've incurred along the way, this, that, whatever. Like, at their core, they're not a terrible person, and they wouldn't be doing that if they weren't hurting themselves. So it's kind of like, there's nothing to forgive, because they're doing their best. And if they could do better, they would, most likely. And I mean, to some degree, you have to be like, well, you need to take responsibility for your actions and things like that. And I absolutely believe that too. And that's not to say that, like, if someone's treating you poorly, you don't just endure it. Like, you manage yourself. Like, you make your own choices. Like, okay, well, this person isn't any good for me, so I'm not going to hang out with them anymore. I'm not going to put any energy into them. I'm not going to waste my mental ruminations on them, right? But at the same time, it's like, I wish them well and healing, and hope for the best for them, I guess. So anyway, a little bit of a tangent, but I think it's relevant to me and who I am as a person, and my personality, and the core of my being. So anyway, but if you want to call it forgiveness, you can call it forgiveness. I just don't see it like that. But anyway, it's like, any traumas I experienced from, like, how my parents raised me or whatever, like, I see them as the broken child they were, you know what I mean? And I love them anyway, and it's not easy, but I'm not holding on to resentments towards them about it. So anyway, yeah, I wasn't doing great for the past couple of years. I had, like I said, a nervous breakdown, And then like right around that time, like some really painful things happened in my life, just to kind of pile on, because you know how things just pile on when you're already struggling. So yeah, anyway, I was pretty beat down, and even as recently as this past April, I was still going through it. But I hesitate to say that I think I've turned a corner and things are looking up, and that's pretty cool. I mentioned I've been working on my nervous system, and that was kind of ultimately what brought me, I think, to where I am now. Is I joined a program. It's like an online 12-week program that you pay one time, and then it goes twice a year, and so you can sign up or not sign up for the 12 weeks twice a year if you want, but I'm gonna be doing it every time it comes around because it's a really amazing resource and it's been super helpful to me. But I learned a lot about how, even though I've done all these things to continue moving forward-ish in life, like I was really only like skimming the surface and like just like deeply in survival mode. And I think I can't go as far to say right now that I'm not in survival mode anymore, because you know, any trigger that could come up could send me into it at any moment, you know. But I'm just way more aware of what is going on in my physiology when these things are happening, either to me or to my body, or even my negative thought spirals. It all comes down to your nervous system and your body just kind of like trying to keep you alive in a stressful situation. And it's a complex topic, and maybe that's something I can talk about on here too. But I've kind of, maybe this is controversial to say, I don't know, but it's valid for my experience. I've kind of realized that every major depressive episode I've had was not, I mean, it was depression, but it was more so my body going into freeze. And I believe, at least for me, my suicidal ideations are a product of my body preparing to die, because I'm in freeze, and your body's designed to prepare yourself for death when you're in a freeze state. Like, that's what it's for. You know, the gazelle is running through the jungle, and the hyena or the cheetah's chasing it, and it's in fight or flight, you know. It's in flight, because a gazelle ain't gonna fight a cheetah, but the cheetah catches the gazelle, right? And then what happens? Like, they're like, oh, physiology says death is coming, so let's make this as painless for you as possible. And so it's kind of like your body kind of gets into this place of like accepting death. Like your heart rate slows, your digestion slows, like everything slows down, because your body doesn't want to feel pain as much as possible when you're being torn apart alive or whatever, you know. And I know this all sounds like insane, but it makes a lot of sense when you dig into it. But anyway, so it's kind of like you can only be in fight or flight for so long before your freeze response kicks in and like starts to override. Because, like, I mean, if you stay in a fight or flight response, then it's just so complicated, but like basically you're putting yourself in terrible health conditions and whatever, you know, like if your heart is racing, like your heart can only race for so long, you know, so like your body has to like tone it down. But if you're constantly like under threat, or your body thinks it's under threat because of trauma that you've incurred that you haven't released, it just needs to shut you down. And then the ideations, I think, gets kind of tangled in there. So like for me, it's like I'll get into flight, I guess. I don't know. I haven't quite figured out the full mechanism of it, but like I'll be in fight or flight, essentially. And then like I get to a point where I can't fight anymore, even if I'm not even fighting, like because like when I have a nervous breakdown, I had no capacity whatsoever for any kind of, oh god, the mosquitoes are coming. I had no capacity for any kind of like conflict or anything. Like it would just immediately send me right down. But it's just kind of like this like give up energy, just like nothing's worth anything, like none like it's not worth fighting, it's not worth trying, like there's no point. And then like just let it happen, like just let the death wash over you. That's kind of essentially, but like your nervous system isn't thinking, so then you have your brain that like makes up all these stories, right? So for me it would always like send me into a shame spiral somehow I would just like be deep in shame and like you're worthless, you're a piece of shit, like you're never gonna do anything, you haven't done anything, like why are you even here? Like it's real dark. And then also you should just give up, like just give up. So anyway, in the program you learn how to be with all of that, understand why it's happening, and then just kind of like allow it to happen. And I'm sure there's like other programs out there that kind of do exactly the same thing, but this is the one I was attracted to, and I am still kind of figuring it out. But anyway, I had a bunch of freeze episodes where it just basically was like wishing death upon myself for a couple of years, almost constantly. There was like an 8-month period, and then there was like a release of that for a little bit where I was like, okay, and then I like went back into it again, and then I came out of it, and I went back into it again, and then I came out of it, and I think there was 3, there might have been 4, but the first one was like 8 months, 8 straight months of just, why am I not dead yet? Really grim. But now I don't know why. Like I said, I think I've turned a corner. Like I'm exercising again. Before, like I just didn't even have the capacity to exercise. It was like difficult, and I like to exercise. I mean, you wouldn't know it by looking at me. You wouldn't know it by looking at me. But you know, I got some strength under all this fat, and I got some endurance in me in terms of. I mean, I used to do long bike rides, like. I did a little bike touring, I did backpacking, like camping with like, you know, whatever, like 50, 60 pounds of weight on my back, you know. I've done some stuff, and I kind of think like part of that's why I burnt out and couldn't exercise and do things like that for quite a long time. Adrenal fatigue. Anyway, I've turned a corner, I think. It's hard to say it out loud because I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, I've been really into I was gonna say rebounding. I'm not really into rebounding, but I joined a challenge, and by joining a challenge I just mean that someone said, hey, you should rebound for 1 song a day for the month of July, and I said, oh, okay. So that's what I'm doing, and it's been great. I started at 2.5 minutes, and now I'm at 3. We're at the end of July, And honestly, I could probably go to 3.5, but we're not on a timeline. I think I'm probably just gonna do this in perpetuity because I'm enjoying it. It's actually like a good little energy boost, and I think it is kind of like helping my mentals. And yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be good for lots of things like digestion, lymphatic drainage, strength training, endurance. And, you know, it's high impact or high intensity, low impact, all that kind of stuff. So I've been doing that daily. It's been great. We adopted a puppy in January, and so it's like every day I gotta take that guy for a good long walk because he's got a lot of energy. And I was walking daily before, but I will say that now that I got the pup, there's just a little bit more incentive to do it every day because I genuinely feel guilty if I don't. Like, not in a bad shame spiral way, but just in a like, this is my baby, he needs this, and I want to do that for him because he loves it so much, and it's good for him, it's good for me. So, and then that's great because then I just feel like between the rebounding and the walking, which is like I walk for like 40 minutes to an hour usually, and then like little walks throughout the day just so he can go pee or whatever. So I would say I probably do about an hour of walking a day, and then like 3 minutes of jumping, and then sometimes I'll throw some yoga or some Pilates into it, and it's just been really good. I feel really good about it, and I want to do more, but I also don't want to push it because it wasn't that long ago that my body was like, get a little edgy about too much stimulation. I got cortisol issues, you know, whatever, it's a whole thing. But anyway, so that's been really great. And yeah, I've been doing a lot of tarot lately. I'm learning a lot of tarot. I wish I was learning more, but I've got a pretty steady practice with that, so that's been fun. And I ordered 3 more decks this week, and I definitely should not have done that on one hand, but on the other hand, well, 2 of them are pretty cool, and then one of them, it's like it went out of print and everybody just like raves about it, and it's not something that I am that into. Well, I'm not into it at all. Like, I don't like the artwork. Oh, I shouldn't say I don't like it. It's just not my... I'm really... If I ever go through every deck that I have on this channel, at some point, like, I probably will, just because I need to, you know, have things to talk about or whatever, until I figure out what I'm going to talk about all the time, or whatever. I don't know how this is going to go, but, I have a lot of decks that I do not like the artwork of, and it grinds on me. And I don't even know why I have them. Like, some of them I don't even know. Like, when I look at them, I'm like, why are you here? You know what I mean? But then, like, some of them I do know that why they're there, and it's because they read well or whatever. But I'm still like pretty newbie to the whole thing, even though I have like a bunch of decks. Like, somehow I just became a collector. It's like, you know, like, you know how like people say like suddenly you're in your 30s or 40s and like all of a sudden you're a bird watcher or whatever. Like, it's never on your radar before. Like, for me it was like, cause I'm in my 30s and suddenly I'm a tarot deck collector. I don't know, whatever. But I'm fine with it because, again, I think they're fun, and I'm getting more and more into it now. But yeah, I've got a lot of decks, so I'm just like, I don't know why you're here, so well, that might be some content, so I'll just go through these decks and be like, why are you here? And see if I can figure out, maybe on camera or whatever. But anyway, so I got one deck, everybody raves about it, and they're just like, can't talk enough good about it. And they're like, even if it's not your thing, it's a great deck. So So apparently it reads really good. And what sold me on it was they were saying that the guidebook alone is like worth getting the deck for. So that's kind of that's not what made me purchase it just now, but what made me purchase it just now is I am a sucker for scarcity tactics. Just another issue to throw in the bank of issues, but anyway, the deck's out of print now. It just went out of print this month. And so it's like, if you're gonna get it, you better get it. Not that I probably could pick it up somewhere along the way, you know, like secondhand or whatever, but I was like, look, I need to learn more about tarot, so I'll just chalk it up to another book on tarot that I need to read. I'll throw it in my collection, so when that comes, I'll probably do an unboxing of that. But anyway, so yeah, I got some decks to unbox still. I've got 3 on the way. And yeah, I've just been loving tarot, and I've been trying to journal regularly, and that's been good. And like, anybody who's a journaler is probably like, duh, you should journal every day. It's hard to sometimes, even if you don't have anything going on. Sometimes I just avoid it. It's like, I don't want to know what's going on in my brain. And then eventually my brain will just get like so bogged down with so many thoughts, and I'll just be like, and I'm like, oh, I should probably journal, and then I end up journaling for like 15 pages, and it's nuts. So I should really journal every day. I'm getting better at it. What else? Okay, here's the thing. I'm not a pop girly, but I'm also not a pop girly. Like, I grew up on Paula Abdul, Madonna, blanking. You know, just lots of pop singers, right? I was never into Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera. They came up when I was like graduating high school, and I was like, absolutely not. I had just come out of the 90s grunge phase. I mean, I was 90s grunge and alternative music and a bit of like metal my entire, ever since basically I heard Faith No More for the first time when I was like 12 years old. I was like, this is my jam. And so from like 12 on, so from when I was a tween into my mid to late 20s, I'm still riding that alternative music train. Well, alternative kind of turned to indie, you know, whatever. I went the whole, whatever. But I have a degree in music, so I mean, I really like all kinds of music, I really do. But anyway, so I'm not really a pop girl. I'm not a pop girly. But I have to admit that Sabrina Carpenter song, that Please 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 one, has just got a chokehold on me. It's so cheeky, and it's so cute, and it's so fun. And it's like, every girl can relate to this. Like, please, you jackass, don't embarrass me by being a jerk to me in front of my friends. Don't make me cry in front of my friends, please. You know? We can all relate to that for the most part. Oh, and then my best baby girl, she turned me on to the Chappell Roan. I don't know if anybody's listening to that, but Chappell Roan. I've been on the rise and fall of a Midwest princess. I can't remember. I've been listening to it nonstop though, and every song on that album is a banger. Like, that girl is talented, I have to say. Like, I mean, it's not often that you come across an entire album that you're like, wow, this is a good song too. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen all the time. But yeah, I have to say, anyway, they've been fun. They've been great to jump to on my rebounder. They get me real amped up, you know? So that's been really cool. What I haven't been into lately is cooking, which is so weird because I love food, clearly. And I love to cook, and I just I could not be bothered. Like, I need to make the easiest possible meals lately that I can muster. I just don't have any interest at all. I shouldn't say any, but like, I gotta make dinner now. I'm like, is that even gonna happen? Like, am I just gonna cook some noodles and throw some marinara on them? Steam some veg? I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. I've kind of rambled for a good 30. And I was thinking about doing the unboxing right after this, but I think this was good. I think I'll just post this. No one will watch it. And then in a couple of days, I'll do the unboxing. My kitty wants his dinner too. I love him. My puppy's with my hubby on the mainland. Yes, I live on an island. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's just a little one. They just went over there. He's working on his project, and he was like, I'm gonna bring the pup. And I was like, well, I'm gonna miss that pup. But if you don't take him, you're gonna miss him. And that's just kind of how we've been rolling lately. That little dog, he's got her heartstrings he just pulls those things. He's really cute. At some point, I don't know, I'll probably show him to you. I don't see why not. We went for a walk today, it rained, it drizzled, and I put his little raincoat on him. Oh my god, that was so cute. I might just post that video just to post it and be like, here's my dog walking in a raincoat. I don't know. I don't know what this channel's gonna be. I don't think it has to be anything right now, because what even is life right now? Does anybody know? What is the world gonna do? Like, what will become of us? Okay, I think I'm gonna go. Good chat. Oh, and one other thing. I lost 6 pounds because I was eating in a specific way, which I'll tell you about later when I actually do it again. When I start doing it, well, maybe not when I start doing it, but once I've been doing it and sticking to it. I did it for 5 months straight, and I loved it. And then I went traveling for like a little bit, and then like it just totally fell off. And I haven't got back on, and it's been like not quite 2 months, and I've already gained all the way back. It's just like, it's so funny. Like, I spent 5 months losing 6 pounds in a sustainable way. I feel like if I would have stuck to it, would have been sustainable, and I was enjoying it. I was enjoying all the food I was eating, so it's so dumb that I just haven't gotten back to it yet, because there's no reason not to. I'm not like what I was eating. Whatever. Anyway, 6 pounds lost and regained in like a month's time. Like, it took me a month to gain it back, and now I'm just kind of like holding steady. Like, my weight loves to be at this weight right now. I don't know why. I wish it wouldn't. But baby steps. Maybe the rebounding will help. I don't know. Okay, getting long. It's been long. I just keep rambling. But life update, huh? Okay.